So I'm looking at an article, and it's basically what I had already assumed was going to happen. I didn't want to be able to say and call it out, but one of the police officers involved in the George Floyd death was freed from jail. And it goes into the article in detail what has gone on or transpired. And I'm just gonna say this: when I know I did another video um, previous, and I told you to pay close attention to the details of each role of the officers that were involved in the George Floyd incident. And the reason being is because they're going to use that as their reason for letting or justifying why either letting them out so they can wait until the trial happens or either just letting them go. And it depends on their role and their motive, what they say, if they were involved, and what it's looking like is they're trying to shift all of the blame on the one officer that you seen in the photo where he had his knee on his neck, on George Floyd's neck. And I know I heard and saw that there was another officer that also was helping restrain George, but they're going to try to shift all the blame onto one individual. And I'm feeling like they might try to see if they can either give the other officers less time or either just let them go altogether, depending on the circumstance. Now, I'm just assuming that. That doesn't say that's how the outcome is going to be. But as you see here, Thomas Lane, police officer involved in the George Floyd's death, was released from jail on bail. Okay, so he got out on bail. So that doesn't mean that he won't be put on trial. So Thomas Lane, one of the 4 Minneapolis police officers involved in the death of George Floyd, has been released from jail on bail. So Lane, he's 37 years of age, who had been held on a $750,000 conditional bail. He was freed from the Hennepin County Jail at 5:08 p.m. Wednesday, according to jail records. So his lawyer, Earl Gray, confirmed that Lane was released Wednesday afternoon after posting bail and told ABC News that he had no further comment at the time because he can't talk because still it's not over with yet. So he is one of the 3 officers, or one of the, how you say, there were 4 involved, but he's one of the 3 officers that was charged in aiding and abetting. So listen to that: aiding and abetting, second-degree murder, and aiding and abetting second-degree manslaughter in connection with the death of George Floyd. And so here he is pictured here. And he was fairly new. And so this handout photo was provided by the Hennepin County Jail, and it was received by AFP June, I believe it said June the 3rd, 2020. So the 4th officer, Derek Chauvin, who was caught on camera pinning George Floyd down with his knee on his neck while he was crying out, "I can't breathe," has been charged with second-degree murder and has not entered a plea yet. And so all 4 officers were fired following George Floyd's murder. And Lane, who was a rookie cop on the force, was being held at $1 million bail without conditions, but he now was released on conditions at $750,000 bail. And so he will be monitored during the release, and he may not carry a gun and must not take part in any law enforcement activities during that time. So Lane's next hearing is scheduled June the 29th, and his attorney Gray told the Star Tribune that the fired cop is planning to file a motion to dismiss the charges against him. So he's going to try to see if he can dismiss all of the charges altogether. But he's out free, and I'm just going to say this. I wouldn't be surprised the officer Fowl, I believe his name is, because he was standing near the incident. Even though he had previous complaints, those are unrelated to this incident here. Because he was standing by the incident, he physically wasn't involved, but he was standing near it. And so there's a possibility, because he was just standing near it, he may even get out, possibly, or get let out off the hook. So I'm not surprised. If you are lawyered up and you have lawyers that know how to present a case a particular way to get you off, it can happen because they're there to represent you. So anyway, we shall see. This is the developing story, and I just wanted to bring this to your attention while everybody is being, exceptionally chummy and quoting Black Lives Matter, and they're floating the signs around, or they're telling you stories, or they're trying to butter you up because they're trying to shift your thinking away from this whole incident so that you won't get fired up about it, because if justice isn't completely served, they don't want you to feel some type of way. And so we've seen this again and again, over and over. And so I just wanted to make mention of this. But, shortly thereafter, I'll be honest with you, that when I posted this, and I don't know if anybody else saw this article, because I'm very thorough with things, and I feel like I have an intuition about these kind of incidences. I saw Donald Trump's tweet saying law and order, because that to me signals to me that they're going to try to possibly, I wouldn't be surprised if they let 3 of the officers go and just try to shift the blame on the one officer that we saw with the knee on George Floyd's neck. However, that is yet to be seen how that whole incident will play out in court, depending on the lawyer and defense attorneys and what they do with this whole situation. But anyway, with that being said, stay tuned. Keep your eyes and your ears open to what is going on and what's developing, because this thing is not over by a long shot. So, like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for listening. Antoinette 70. Thank you.